Yo, folks and friends, RC here. Today we're using a chestacular team to take on Y-Comm randos. These are all pocket monsters whose designs feature some manner of emphasis on the pectoral region. If you catch my drift, please don't smite me, YouTube. First up we have Nidoqueen, which is pretty notorious in its own right. And next up here we have Machamp, whose exposed chest is all the more disturbing by the fact that this one's female. You're welcome. And here we have Jinx, another OG chest design that needs no further explanation. Speaking of no explanation, do I even need to mention this one? Has jiggle physics and everything. Nuzleaf is kind of a underrated pick here, but if you notice on its chest it actually has exposed nipples for some reason. This spot normally would be reserved for Swanna or Gorbis, but since they got Masuda snapped, I have stuck Gardevoir on here. It doesn't actually have much chest to design besides that red thing, but according to the internet it does. Let's get on to our first battle of the day. It's going to be against Lonely. Aw, uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. I'll keep you company, at least for a little while. Lonely actually made his move selections relatively quickly, which made editing much easier, so thank you for that, Lonely. He is going to lead with Rhyperior. Shiny Rhyperior at that. And we're going to go with good old Nidoqueen, because we can get Stealth Rocks up and it has pretty decent coverage overall, so I thought that would be a good pick. I'm considering what I want to do here. Do I want to stay in and eat an Earthquake? Do I want to hit it with an Earth Power just to get some chip? And in the end I decided, let's just go for some Stealth Rock. When in doubt, just always set Stealth Rock. Even if it's already up, just set it again. But don't really, that's a bad idea. So we got our rocks up and they get their rocks up. Double rocking. So I do have Defog on the Nuzleaf, so I can always remove those later. It would remove mine as well, but it is what it is. So I'll go for the Earth Power here. Get some good chip on there. I expect I'll be going down, and oh my goodness, it has a weakness policy, so went from expecting to go down to, oh yeah, I'm definitely going down. Usually Rhyperior would run weakness policy in doubles. It's not very common on it on singles, I don't think, but I don't know, I haven't seen too many Rhyperior in singles, to be honest with you. And they're dead in doubles now too, so there's that. Down goes Nidoqueen, but I expected that. I kind of expected that on the first turn, but Stealth Rocks also made sense. And we're going to send in our Machamp here. Ooh, those glistening pectoral goodness. And the stones dig in. That's going to be a recurring theme in this match for a while. So just kind of looking at their team composition and thinking, oh yeah, if I were them, I would definitely switch Corsola in this situation. And guess what they switch in? Surprise, Corsola. So we're just gonna go for the knockoff and just slap that Eviolite right off of those grubby little cursed hand things. So that's always good. Taking Eviolite from these kinds of menaces is the first step to success. The only bad thing is that subsequent knockoffs are not going to do that much, even though its defenses are down. It's also not holding an item anymore, so we're only dealing with 65 base power. So because of that, it lives, gets its cursed body off, and so I'm not the only one here with a cursed body. And gets a strength sap off. Nom nom. Machamp nutrients. I don't like the implications of that. Anyway, it gets all of its health back, which is why we all love to see Corsola. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because the only move I have to hit it with is locked, and my strength is down anyway. So we're going to go into good old Nuzleaf. Unlike them, I do still have my Eviolite, so I can be a persistent pain in the bum. It's going to get a Will-O-Wisp, it's going to miss, which wouldn't make too much of a difference since this is mostly just a support to Stolly set anyway. It would weaken Foul Play, but that's not going to be much of a factor in this battle. And fun fact, yes, being burned does weaken moves such as Foul Play and also Body Press, because the effective burn actually halves the damage of physical moves. It does not have your attack, so there's some good information if you didn't know that. Anyway, it gets the burn off this time, so I mean, that's fine, it's whatever. I do have rest on this set, so it doesn't make a huge difference either way. We're just going to go for Defog here, just to get rid of those rocks. My Nidoqueen is gone, so I can't get mine up, but I also don't want to deal with them, especially since the Jinx in the back has a Focus Sash. I'd like to keep that intact. I don't know if they're just psychic, low-key, or they just made the prediction of their lifetime because they set Stealth Rock back up even though they already had it. They just knew that I had defog, so that's interesting, I guess. I don't know if that was a misclick or just an extremely impressive play, but I'll give them credit. We'll just say it's an impressive play. So I'm just going to defog again, get rid of them, and they are going to send in Dracolos, which is Dragonite in another language, a nickname? I'm not really sure. So we're going to get rid of the rocks. Again, would have been nice if I had my own rocks up still because of multi-scale, which is not something I really thought of when I used defog last time, but it's fine. We'll still get Toxic up on it. That will get rid of multi-scale and also continue to chip, so I thought that would be more beneficial overall than just breaking multi-scale with foul play that's going to cause practically no damage anyway. So it gets a Dragon Dance setup, which could be scary in the future, but as I said, I do have a Jinx in the back with a Focus Sash that can Ice Beam it to death, and multi-scale is gone, so I'm not super worried about it, because even if it brought me down to my Sash, it would go down after that anyway. It's gonna swing and hit me with that Fire Punch, and down our Nuzleaf goes. You did good, kid. Kind of. And we get some more of that residual Toxic, so already I'm pretty sure that those 2 turns of Toxic did more than a burned foul play would have, so that's nice. We are going to send in a Gardevoir. This is actually Timid Choice Scarf, so I'm absolutely going to outspeed it. I know it said Modest in the team preview that I showed earlier, but I minted it. It's actually Timid now. It used to be Modest. It is reformed. It's Timid at this point. So we get that Moonblast off, and Dragonite is absolutely going down. I doubt that crit mattered because multi-scale was already broken. Down it goes! And in comes Shiny Porygon Z, the true blue net wanderer. So we're just gonna Moonblast it, don't have to think too hard here. And they are going to Dynamax the Porygon Z, which is fine, I suppose. We'll get their Dynamax out of the way and not have to worry about that later on while we still have our Dynamax. Can often be a very good thing to have Dynamax still in your sleeve when your opponent does not. So we're going to get a big old glitchy error here, Moonblast it. I'm hoping to get a special attack drop on it with that. I don't get one, and we get the Max Phantasm firing off here. But we actually live, which is pretty respectable considering we don't have any kind of defense investment in this. It just lived off of its base special defense, which is nice. So I'm thinking about if I want to switch anything in here, and there isn't anything that I particularly want to take its next max move, so we're just going to sack Gardevoir here and get as much damage off on this Porygon Z as possible. Launch another Moonblast into it and take another Max Phantasm. So Gardevoir goes down, but it did a significant amount of damage, and it also stalled out 2 of the turns of Dynamax, so that's a win in my book. Good job, Gardevoir. Next, we're going to bring in the Jinx, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to finish it off with the health it has left here. Those shiny boobs. So we're just going to hit it with an Ice Beam here. I would be pretty surprised if it lived from that range, and it doesn't, so very nice. Down it goes. Big old dramatic explosion. Gets kind of old after like the 200th time you see that, but it is what it is. And in comes good old Potato Nose, and I don't know about you, but I think this is one of the most disturbing of all Pokemon designs in the entire game. Like, is that just me? It's just really creepy looking. Anyway, I'm thinking about going for counter here for some counter sash shenanigans. Then I'm like, nah, I don't need to joke around at this point. I'm just gonna Dynamax, set up a Max Mindstorm, get that weird battlefield effect set on the field to power up my psychic moves in the future and just kind of clean up as much of their team as I can. So we're getting a big old girl here. You don't see Dynamax Jinx all too often. She wants you to keep it a secret, apparently. Shh, don't tell anyone. And we're gonna launch our Max Mindstorm into it. I thought it might go for Protect, because sometimes they protect first turn in order to activate their Flame Orb, but they didn't. I don't know if they didn't have a Flame Orb or what they were planning on doing, but maybe they just thought they would live one of its attacks. I'm not sure. But Conkeldurr's down regardless. It didn't get anything done, which is a good thing to see, because that's another pain in the bum. And out comes Corsola. the glittering beast, and we knocked off its Eviolite earlier, so I'm pretty confident this will KO it because it's not all that obnoxious without the Eviolite. So Machamp's contribution to the team coming through here as we just drop it just like that, which is nice. So far we're 2 turns Dynamax and 2 KOs, which puts us in a pretty good position. Rhyperior comes out next, and it's obviously just going to get sacked here as well, because it's certainly not outspeeding me, and it's most assuredly not going to live with that much HP. I doubt it would have lived even if it were at full HP, because Rhyperior's special defense is kind of nasty. And so their final Pokemon is Elecable. So I don't know if these Pokemon names are in a specific language, or they're nicknamed, or what the deal is. When you do ranked, you always know when it's another language because you can't see nicknames, but I'm not sure when you're in this specific battle setting. Anyway, I went for Ice Beam. That was not a great idea because Psyshock would have done far more damage because it hits on the defensive side, it has bad defense, and we also have Psychic Terrain up, and so it doesn't wind up mattering in the end anyway. It gets KO'd, but, you know, would have been bad if things had gone differently. I probably could have just KO'd it in one hit, but they cancel the battle, and that's that. Thanks for the match, Lonely. Hope I was able to keep you company for a while. For our second battle of the day, we are going up against whatever that says. Whatever that name means, I'm not sure. And they are packing just about the most exciting team I've seen all day, which you'll get to experience too, but you should get a good idea just from seeing what comes out in the first place. Hello there, pink shiny boy. So yeah, it's going to be one of those types of players, the kind you often run into when you just do random battles on Y-Comm. So Kyogre's Drizzle is going to set up the rain, and this is just about the last thing my Nidoqueen wants to deal with in the world, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here and switch on into Jinx, because Jinx has dry skin, and I'm pretty sure a Water Spout or an Origin Pulse is coming my way, because why wouldn't it? Even resisted, those moves cause obscene amounts of damage, so absorbing it is just about the only way I'm going to be able to take this hit well. So Dry Skin allows us to deal with that. I'm going to go for a Lovely Kiss here and pray to the RNG gods that it actually connects, because I want this creature out of commission as soon as possible. And luckily for us, it does connect, so it gets a big old smooch on the lips there and goes right to sleep. So at this point, it's like, I'm going to just go for Psyshock and try to chunk as much off of this as possible, but they actually switch out, which is a shame, because I wanted to get some damage on there, get that out of the way. And good old Magearna comes in, and I'm already like, okay, I don't know how I'm possibly going to deal with this Pokemon, because there's not a single thing on my team that can really handle it all that well, except possibly Earth Power from Nidoqueen. But I'm afraid to switch Nidoqueen in, because I don't know what it's going to do, and I don't want it to take too much damage outright. So we're just going to go ahead and Lovely Kiss, put it to sleep again. I don't feel even remotely bad about violating Sleep Clause, considering I'm using, well, this team against a entire team of Mythicals and restricted Pokemon. So once again, just kind of weighing my option here, see what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, well, we'll get Nidoqueen in now, because Nidoqueen's really the only thing on this team that has any hope at taking on Magearna. And Earth Power should do a pretty solid chunk to it. So it's going to stay asleep, which is good for us. The rain is going to stop, not that that matters. As soon as Kyogre comes back in, it will be Downpour City once again. So I'm going to set Stealth Rocks up, because they've already been switching around a bit, and I think that the rocks will help with residual damage and maybe make it a little easier to deal with the overwhelming pressure that is this obnoxious team of theirs. So we got our stones on the field as this terrifying beast just comes moseying on in to ruin my life. So I'm going to try to Earth Power it, because there's not really a whole lot else I can do that would be practical. Anything I switch in is just going to get completely bonked. So we eat a Freeze Dry to the face, and that brings us way, way down. Now, I take the opportunity to just remove this Pokemon from the equation here. On retrospect, I probably should have handled this situation a little bit better. I don't know how I could have, but I do know that I have to have Nidoqueen to deal with Magearna later, so letting it go down is not a good idea. Not exactly something that's in old Renard's favor, you know what I mean? So we got Rayquaza just slithering on in from the cosmos here, and it's going to finish me off. I am timid and max speed, so I was hoping it would be adamant, but oh no, a crit! I absolutely would have died anyway, it doesn't matter. So Nidoqueen goes down, and that is very, very bad, because now I'm left with nothing that can possibly deal with Magearna, but, you know, that'll be fine, right? Right?
What could possibly go wrong?
Okay, so Jinx is coming in. We're going to launch an Ice Beam at it as it goes for extreme speed, bringing us all the way down to our Sash. But there is absolutely no way it's living this Ice Beam, so it is kind of annoying that it brought me to my Sash, but extreme speed is a really good move, and physical variants tend to carry it, so I wasn't too surprised that happened. So wait a minute. You dirty bird. Literally and figuratively. So we are going to Ice Beam this hacked beast that has come in here, but unfortunately for us, it actually lives on just a little bit of health and gets its Berserk off. That would have been fantastic if it went down, but Moltres' base special defense is just too good for us, unfortunately. So that is the end of Jinx, as we lose another vital component to the team, because now I can't just Lovely Kiss spam to take care of all of these tremendous threats. So we're going into Choice Scarf of Gardevoir here. We know that we are going to outspeed it because, again, we have Choice Scarf. We know that. They don't know that. I don't know if they would care anyway, but we're going to select Moonblast, and it's going to stay in, and that's just going to get dropped in, well, I say one hit. It had, like, you know, red sliver of health, but if it lived through that, I would have been shocked and amazed and probably just quit playing this game forever. So Magearna comes back in, and good choice on their end, because really, what am I supposed to do about this thing? So we're going to weigh our options, see who can handle it, who can't. Can't Toxic it. Miltank can't do anything. So Machamp's pretty much the only hope we have. I have to hope that it stays asleep and doesn't Fleur Cannon us. And I think that Cross Chop is going to be my only hope at chunking this beast. So unfortunately it does wake up, but it goes for Aura Sphere, which I really don't know why they would do that outside of a prediction, because that if I had stayed in as Gardevoir, that would have been quadruple resisted. But works out for them, I guess, in a way. So that still did quite a bit of damage considering it's non-stab and neutral. So out goes the Magearna, which is, I want that thing gone. And in comes the Kyogre. Man, I sure missed you. It's been like a whole few minutes since I've seen you entering the picture to threaten to ruin my life. So once again, I have to hope for, well, one, for Cross Chop not to miss, because we actually have Guts on this set and not No Guard. So a miss is always possible, usually at the worst times. So I'm hoping that it stays asleep. I'm just going to go for Knockoff in case they want to continue with their switch, you know, dance that they've been doing, and they do. So I'm like, all right, let's see who comes in here. We'll get rid of their item. That should be pretty good. So it is the Bacon Bird itself, Yveltal. And see, that Stealth Rock is definitely coming in handy against these dark and flying types. So we're going to use its own Dark Aura against it to power up our own knockoff. And it had a dire hit. A dire hit? That's not a hold item. That's an item you use in... I don't even know what to say about that. I think Scope Lens is the hold item that you're looking for. But, you know, this is what happens when you do random battles on the Y-Comm. It's just utter chaos, and you don't even know what's happening half the time, at best. So, once again, I'm in a sticky situation. There really isn't anyone that I want to switch in, so I'm like, alright, I think I'm just going to Dynamax here, hopefully survive the incoming Oblivion Wing, and then just take this thing out of the picture and see what happens when the next Pokemon comes in after this. So we're flexing our big ol' lovely chestacular pecs there, and it actually goes for Dark Pulse, and once again, a play I don't even know what to say about that. Maybe they were predicting another switch in, or they're just randomly clicking moves, I would believe either at this point. So unfortunately, it actually does survive the max knuckle, which is a real shame for me because I was quite hoping it would go down. Shocker, I know I want my opponent's Pokemon to faint. I know you guys wouldn't have predicted that, but it's true. So now they're going to Dynamax here, which is interesting. It's an interesting choice because it already knew it outsped me because it did last turn, and it's only got a little itty bitty bit of health. I would have thought that it would have gone for Oblivion Wing and healed itself almost back to full off of that lovely move, but nope. We're just going to go for a max Airstream, and I do actually live because this Machamp has max HP, which is further intensified by the fact that we doubled it from Dynamaxing. So we're going to finish it off with a max Knuckle here after a couple of very odd, questionable, intriguing plays from my opponent's part. And down goes the giant Bacon Burb, and we have practically no health, a very slow Machamp with no speed investment, and a grand total of 51 HP. So back comes Magearna, the terror of my life, and I'm like, well, my only real hope here is that I outspeed it, because Magearna tends to be pretty slow unless it sets up shift gear or agility. So I'm going to go for the max Knuckle and hope that I can just blast off the rest of its health here. But nope, it does actually outspeed me and goes for Aura Sphere again. They probably don't want to drop their stats with Fluor Cannon, if they even have it, who knows at this point. And down goes Machamp, and that gives it a Soul Heart boost. And I'm like, well, this is pretty much what I've been fearing the whole battle ever since Nidoqueen went down, because now it's at +1 special attack, and I don't have any answers to it. There's nothing on this team that can possibly stand up to Magearna. So I'm going to go for Gardevoir. It's the best hope I have, the best of the worst. Let's just put it that way, I guess. And this Gardevoir does not have anything that can hope to touch Magearna. It resists my moves. Burning is not going to help because it is special anyway. And Healing Wish is not going to help us because there's nothing in the back to heal. Everything that could have helped is elongated. So we're just going to Moonblast to get some residual damage chipped there and hopefully lower its special attack, which doesn't happen, and then it just absolutely destroys us in one hit. I don't think that crit mattered. I'm not sure, but I would wager it didn't matter, and I don't care enough to do the calc. So at this point, it probably wouldn't make a difference even if it was a 1 or 2 hit KO, because this Magearna is now set up to just steamroll the rest of the team here. So we'll go into Miltank and just pretty much take our medicine here. Body Slam is the only move we have that can actually hit it. Not that it would do too much damage, but I thought, well, maybe if I lived, it could paralyze it and that can help. But nope, we don't live. It's down with the cow. And another Soul Heart, so it is now at +3. And if there was any indication that I had not just completely lost this match, that just cements it right there. Go get him, Nuzleaf, with your foul play that's resisted. Not that you're even going to get a turn because you are very slow. So I just go for rest at this point because it does not matter what I click. There's no possible way I could win. So I'm just, yeah. And down Nuzleaf goes. Didn't even get to get a turn off. And that's how lovely Magearna is. Aren't we glad it's banned from, actual competitive formats? I am. Anywho, here is the rental team for you guys if you want to take it for a spin. This does include transfer Pokemon, so you will not be able to use this in ranked, but you just mostly want to goof off with it anyway. It's just a silly team to have fun with, as you saw. So go ahead and give it a shot. As always, this is a limited time code because I only have a few slots to host rental teams, so if you catch this video later and the code's already been taken down, I apologize. Get it while it's hot. That's a wrap for this video. Thanks for watching all the way until the end. If you enjoyed the video, give that like button some tender lovin'. Subscribe if you want to see more ridiculous teams such as this in the future, and click the notification bell since apparently just subscribing isn't good enough these days. If you made it this far in the video, leave a comment that Soul Heart is a fair and balanced ability. That's all for me. Stay classy, crew. Adios.